Well, the Muslim lobbying group Cair, the Council on American Islamic Relations, has waged a very public campaign to free Aafia Siddiqui. The group says that the hostage taking yesterday is, quote, an unacceptable act of evil. And the group says it does stand in solidarity with the Jewish community. In fact, the executive director of the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter of Cair condemns what happened, calling it wrong, heinous, and, quote, something that is completely undermining our efforts to get Dr. Aafia released. But take a look at this event that was held by Cair's Texas chapter just 2 months ago to support her release from federal prison. The Facebook event was billed as Injustice Dr. Aafia in November. It featured Cair's Texas leader, along with Siddiqui's lawyer, and controversial activist Linda Sarsour. There have also been rallies held in New York, Washington, Boston, and Texas demanding that she be released. Meantime, the standoff in Colleyville reminds us that the threat of radical Islamic terrorism has not diminished here at home. Intelligence experts say that al-Qaeda, ISIS are still major threats and have warned of a potential resurgence after American troops left Afghanistan. Dan Hoffman is here, former CIA station chief, served in Moscow, Iraq, and Pakistan, and Fox News contributor. So, Dan, Cair Austin, in their event that they held 2 months ago, they said, quote, Dr. Aafia is a mother of three who holds a Ph.D. from Brandeis University and is serving an unjust 86-year sentence for a crime she did not commit. Is it possible that this guy in the synagogue was inspired by this global campaign to free her?
It's certainly possible that he was inspired by that part of the campaign. And also remember that ISIS and al-Qaeda have sought to make prisoner exchanges where they would offer U.S. Citizens whom they were detaining and planning to torture and kill, and in return for Siddiqui's release. Look, the facts are so irrefutable in her case. The FBI put her on their most wanted list in 2004. When she was arrested in Afghanistan in 2008, as we mentioned, she had plans for mass casualty attacks in New York at the Empire State Building and the Brooklyn Bridge. She was sentenced to 86 years in prison for very good reason. The concern about her is her scientific know-how, neuroscience and biology degrees, her links and ties to al-Qaeda, and then her deep knowledge of the United States. So she's where she belongs right now. And the al-Qaeda and ISIS terrorists are receiving the kind of, I think, moral support in this case that they don't deserve from those who believe she should be released.
Yeah, she was sentenced and she was convicted for trying to kill 7 American soldiers and FBI agents by grabbing that machine gun when she was being held. And here's her sentencing memo. All you got to do is read her sentencing memo, which I have. It's unbelievable. They say they found on her 2 pounds of sodium cyanide. She wrote that America is the enemy. And here's something that she wrote they found in her writing, quote, it is better to die while fighting infidels than to die or become handicapped by one's own negligence and careless when making weapons. So 2 pounds of sodium cyanide. Dan, what's that? And how can the supporters and groups say, well, she's an innocent mother of 3, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo, she's an innocent mother of 3, that she's been framed. It's wrong.
Yeah, well, she's put her extremist terrorist goals ahead of anything I think she might have wanted for her children. Look, cyanide would be part of a lethal mass casualty attack. She was determined to be a clear and present danger, and there were clear facts, irrefutable ones, and that's why she was sentenced. And again, when the government of Pakistan, the Prime Minister Imran Khan makes those sorts of pronouncements, he's adding fuel to al-Qaeda and ISIS fire, and those who would like to induce her release or cause it through hostage taking, which is exactly what al-Qaeda and ISIS have done over the past decade. I think it's important for us. It would be good for the Biden administration to issue a statement. She's not going anywhere. She's where she belongs. She was sentenced. And there is no recourse for her except what is available in our judicial system, which, in contrast, I would emphasize to Pakistan's is free and fair.
Mm-hmm. And this also reminds us of the threat of radical Islamic terrorism. Look, the first radical Islamic terrorist attack, November 5th, 1990, El Sayed Nosair shoots Rabbi Meir Kahane in New York City. Rashid Bassam shoots Ari Halberstam, a young yeshiva student on the Brooklyn Bridge, 1994, 93, bombed the World Trade Center, 95, the landmark plot, 9/11. On and on. Does this remind us that this threat is alive and continues, and they want to kill us?
It does. And listen, if I were still at the CIA and I were briefing the president or the White House on this issue, I would say that terrorism is still the national security threat with the shortest fuse. I know we want to focus on China and other domestic priorities, but this one's still out there. And we've made it worse with our chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan, which has now morphed into a terrorist state. We've done well at effectively targeting al-Qaeda and ISIS senior leadership and a lot of their foot soldiers. But the other two elements of a good counterterrorism strategy, that is denying terrorists ungoverned space and getting to the root cause of terrorism, those things we have not succeeded at. And Afghanistan is one big piece of ungoverned space, a petri dish growing threats to our nation. And that is a real concern, as well as the fact that you've got this ability of extremists to travel to our country or radicalize those who are here already. And the fact that this was a British national reportedly carrying out this hostage taking should be of grave concern to us.
And Dr. Siddiqui has us reporters here at home who are taking advantage and using America's freedoms to support this convicted radical Islamic terrorist. Dan Hoffman, former CIA station chief. Dan, thank you. Arthel?
Thank you.